Once in a second, I think I can beat Emmanuel Macron, says Nicolas Dupont-Aignan at the microphone of BFM TV/RMC. So we have to go to the second round, but it's not lost. There are millions of French people who have not made their choice. Credited with 1% of voting intentions in the polls, the candidate of Débat La France believes that he annoys, because I will be a much more unifying candidate than Le Pen and Zemmour in the second round. 8:23 a.m. There are never so many foreigners on our territory, assures Bryce Hortefeux. LR, the reality of Emmanuel Macron's immigration record. There are never so many foreigners on our territory, says Bryce Hortefeux, supporter of Valérie Pécresse, at the microphone of Sud Radio. 1.8 million additional migrants over the 5-year period. 8:18 a.m. Macron's speech deeply annoyed the other MEPs, believes Bryce Hortefeux. LR. Bryce Hortefeux, Les Républicains, supports the words of Valérie Pécresse by criticizing the speech delivered by Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday in Strasbourg to inaugurate the French presidency of the Council of the European Union. This stage of Macron's speech in Strasbourg was a disappointment, retorted the former minister at the microphone of Sud Radio. It is a chiaroscuro discourse, national political concerns, which have deeply annoyed the other MEPs. 8:08 a.m. I said what I had to say against Jean-Jacques Bourdin, believes Pécresse. Valérie Pécresse returns to the message she sent to victims of sexual violence in the introduction to the program in which she participated on Tuesday evening on BFM TV, hosted by Jean-Jacques Bourdin, accused of attempted sexual assault by a former collaborator. I said what I had to say, and did what I had to do, indicates the candidate of the Republicans on France Inter. We need to reaffirm that women's voice is important and that they should not be afraid to lodge a complaint. 8 a.m. Pécresse understands the exasperation of the educational community, on strike this Thursday. Teachers are again on strike to protest against the management of the health crisis in education. I understand the exasperation of the educational community, whether teachers but also parents, launches Valérie Pécresse at the microphone of France Inter. We gave them a protocol that was just untenable. We did not consult them. 7:56 a.m. Basically, the speech, de Macron, was not up to the challenges, tackle Pécresse at the microphone of France Inter. Valérie Pécresse criticizes the speech delivered by Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday inaugurating the French presidency of the Council of the European Union. Basically, the speech was not up to the challenges, tackles the Republican candidate. There was nothing on the carbon tax, nothing on the energy policy of the European Union, nothing either on how we are going to regain control of the borders. It was hollow. Nothing concrete. 7:53 a.m. Emmanuel Macron's speech disappointed many Europeans, says Pécresse on Wednesday. Emmanuel Macron inaugurated the French presidency of the Council of the European Union, PFUE, with a speech delivered at the European Parliament in Strasbourg. Emmanuel Macron's speech disappointed many Europeans, thinks Valérie Pécresse, guest of France Inter. They had the feeling that the FU had been misused for the benefit of a presidential campaign. 7:45 a.m. Nicolas Bay, RN, defends the reduction of taxation, especially on fuels. National Rally MEP Nicolas Bay supports, on the set of France 2, Marine Le Pen's proposal to reduce the tax burden. We are one of the most taxed countries in the world, he regrets. 47% of our GDP in compulsory levies. Taxation must be lowered. It remains far too high for both companies and households. It must be lowered, especially on fuels and energy in general. 7:43 a.m. Marine Le Pen is not at all in a position to win, estimates Jérôme Rivière, XRN. National Rally MEP Jérôme Rivière announced on Wednesday that he was joining Éric Zemmour. I think that Marine Le Pen is not at all in a position to win this presidential election, he justifies at the microphone of RMC. He thus leaves his post as leader of the European deputies of the RN to become vice president of Reconquest, the party of the polemicist, and spokesperson from the candidate's campaign. 7:40 a.m. We will have to be able to come together to beat Emmanuel Macron, estimates Nicolas Bay, RN, on the set of France 2. Nicolas Bay, MEP of the National Rally, returns to the rallying of Jérôme Rivière, until then president of the MEPs of the RN, to Éric Zemmour. We are in an election period, it sometimes leads to divisions, he assures. But at some point, You will have to be able to come together to beat Emmanuel Macron. Zemmour tried on appeal for contesting a crime against humanity. Eric Zemmour is to be tried on appeal this Thursday for contesting a crime against humanity after having argued in October 2019 on news that Marshal Philippe Pétain had saved French Jews. He was acquitted in February 2021, the court considering that the remarks had been made off the cuff during a debate on the war in Syria. His lawyer requested the dismissal of the lawsuit. I find it abnormal that presidential candidates are judged in the middle of the campaign, reacted Eric Zemmour. On Monday, the far-right candidate was fined €10,000 for incitement to hatred and racial slur by the Paris Criminal Court, for remarks about underage migrants, a judgment he described as ideological and stupid. He will call. 7:03 a.m. Taubira continues his campaign. Jadot and Mélenchon still tackle the popular primary. Christian Taubira, who is one of the few candidates who agreed to submit to the result of the popular primary, will be going to Lille this Thursday and will hold a conference on youth at Sciences Po at the end of the afternoon. On Wednesday, she went to Neuville-sur-Oise, Val d'Oise, to meet caregivers from a wealthy nursing home on strike for 17 days against toxic management. After the withdrawal of Arnaud Montebourg on Wednesday, the left remains dispersed between five main candidates: the rebellious Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the ecologist Yannick Jadot, the socialist Anne Hidalgo, the communist Fabien Roussel, and Christian Taubira. The rebellious leader again criticized the popular primary, a citizens' initiative intended to reduce the number of candidates on the left, but which is not unanimous. "I don't want to be involved in this story in any way," he said. For Yannick Jadot, this primary is a machine for building yet another candidacy, a machine for losing. Infographic Visit to 311,000. The organizers of this initiative claim Wednesday 311,000 registered for this vote of investiture scheduled for January 27 to 30, which must decide between 7 pre-selected personalities. A necessarily European campaign. Europe has been invited throughout the week in the presidential campaign, on the occasion of Emmanuel Macron's inaugural speech in the European Parliament this Wednesday to launch the French presidency of the European Union. Read our analysis here. 7:01 a.m., morning guests on RMC at 7:40 a.m., Jérôme Rivière, MEP for the RN, who joins Eric Zemmour on France 2 at 7:38 a.m., Nicolas Bay, MEP for the RN on France Inter at 7:50 a.m., Valérie Pécresse, LR candidate in the presidential election on Sud Radio at 8:15 a.m., Brice Hortefeux, LR MEP, member of Valérie Pécresse's campaign team on LCI at 8:30 a.m., Françoise Bayrou, High Commissioner for Planning and Mayor, MoDem, of Pau sur France Info at 8:30 a.m., Gérald Darmanin, Minister for Interior on RMC/BFM TV at 8:30 a.m., Nicolas Dupont-Aignan, candidate about La France in the presidential election. What to remember from Wednesday in Strasbourg, Emmanuel Macron gave a speech inaugurating the French presidency of the Council of the EU in front of MEPs. His defense of the rule of law within Europe provoked strong reactions in the opposition. Eric Zemmour also presented his vision of Europe on the site of the old Calaisian jungle, Pas de Calais, to highlight the problems linked to immigration. His movement was disrupted by anti-fascist demonstrators. Arnaud Montebourg is withdrawing from the presidential race and will not support any candidate. The Insoumis ask the popular primary to remove Jean-Luc Mélenchon from the list of candidates for the device. RN MEP Jérôme Rivière, who was one of Marine Le Pen's campaign spokespersons, has joined Eric Zemmour's team.